The First Confederate Congress was the first regular term of the legislature of the Confederate States of America. Members of the First Confederate Congress were chosen in elections mostly held on November 6, 1861. Sessions. The Provisional Confederate Congress fixed the date of the inaugural meeting of the First Confederate Congress. As a result, the two-year congressional term ran from February 18, 1862 until February 18, 1864. All sessions of the First Confederate Congress met in the Confederacy's capital of Richmond, Virginia. First session, February 18, 1862 to April 21, 1862. Second session, August 18, 1862 to October 13, 1862. Third session, January 12, 1863 to May 1, 1863. Fourth session, December 7, 1863 to February 18, 1864. Leadership. Senate President of the Senate, Vice President Alexander H. Stephens. President pro tempore Robert Mercer Taliaferro Hunter of Virginia. House Speaker of the House of Representatives, Thomas Stanley Bocock of Virginia, February 18, 1862 – March 18, 1865. Speaker pro tempore, Jabez Lamar Monroe Currier of Alabama. Members. Senate. Confederate States Senators were elected by the state legislatures, or appointed by state governors to fill casual vacancies until the legislature elected a new senator. It was intended that one-third of the Senate would begin new six-year terms with each Congress after the first, preceding the names in the list below as Senate class numbers, which indicate the cycle of the terms. In this Congress, all senators were newly elected. Senators of Class 1 served a two-year term, expiring at the end of this Congress, requiring a new election for the 1864 to 1870 term. Class 2 senators served what was intended to be a four-year term, due to end on the expiry of the next Congress in 1866. Class 3 senators were meant to serve a six-year term, due to expire at the end of the Third Confederate Congress in 1868. As the Confederate Congress lasted less than 4 full years, the distinction between Classes 2 and 3 was ultimately academic. The members of the classes were selected by the drawing of lots, which was done during the meeting of the Senate on February 21, 1862. Alabama 1. Clement Claiborne Clay. 3. William Lowndes Yancey Robert Jemison, Jr. Arkansas 1. Robert Ward Johnson. 3. Charles Burton Mitchell. Florida 1. James McNair Baker. 2. Augustus Emmett Maxwell. Georgia 3. Benjamin Harvey Hill. 1. Robert Augustus Toombs John Wood Lewis, Sr. Herschel Vespasian Johnson. Kentucky 3. Henry Cornelius Burnett. 1. William Emmett Sims. Louisiana 2. Thomas Jenkins Semmes. 3. Edward Sparrow. Mississippi 2. Albert Gallatin Brown. 1. James Felin, Sr. Missouri 1. John Bullock Clark, Sr. 2. Robert Lutwell Yates Peyton Waldo Porter Johnson. North Carolina 1. George Davis Edwin Godwin Reed. 2. William Theophilus Dortch, South Carolina 2. Robert Woodward Barnwell. 3. James Lawrence Orr, Tennessee 3. Landon Carter Haynes. 2. Gustavus Adolphus Henry, Sr. Texas 3. William Simpson Oldham, Sr. 2. Louis Streisand Wigfall, Virginia 3. Robert Mercer Taliaferro Hunter. 2. William Ballard Preston Allen Taylor Caperton. House of Representatives X, originally member of the Provisional Confederate Congress. The names of members of the House of Representatives are preceded by the district numbers. Alabama 1. Thomas Jefferson Foster. 2. William Russell Smith. 3. John Perkins Rawls. 4. Jabez Lamar Monroe Curry x5, Francis Strother Leon 6, William Parrish Chilton Sr. x7, David Clopton 8, James Lawrence Pugh 9, Edmund Strother Dargan, Arkansas 1, Felix Ives Batson 2, Grandison Delaney Royston 3, Augustus Hill Garland x4, Thomas Burton Hanley, Florida 1, James Baird Dawkins John Marshall Martin 2, Robert Benjamin Hilton, Georgia 1, Julian Hartridge 2, Charles James Munnellan 3, Heinz Holt Porter Ingram 4, Augustus Holmes Keenan x5, David William Lewis 6, William White Clark 7, Robert Pleasant Tripp 8, Lucius Jeremiah Gartrell 9, Hardy Strickland 10, Augustus Romaldus Wright x, Kentucky 1, Willis Benson Macon 2, John Watkins Crockett Jr. 3, Henry English Reed 4, George Washington Ewing x 5, James Crisman 6, Theodore Legrand Burnett x 7, Horatio Washington Bruce 8, George Baird Hodge x 9, Eli Metcalf Bruce 10, James William Moore 11, Robert Jefferson Breckinridge Jr. 12, John Milton Elliott x Louisiana 1, Charles Jacques Villara 2, Charles McGill Conrad X 3, Duncan Farrar Kenner x 4, Lucius Jack Dupre 5, Henry Marshall x 6, John Perkins Jr. x, Mississippi 1, Jeremiah Watkins Clapp 2, Reuben Davis William Dunbar Holder 3, Israel Victor Welch 4, Henry Cousins Chambers 5, Otho Robard Singleton 6, Ethelbert Barksdale 7, John Jones McCrae. Missouri. In Confederate law, the people of Missouri were entitled to elect 13 representatives. The state never implemented the reapportionment and continued to use its existing 7 districts. Pending an election, the appointed members of the delegation to the Provisional Congress were assigned to serve in the First Congress. No election was held, so the appointed members served throughout the Congress. 1. William Mordecai Cook, Sr. x 2, Thomas Alexander Harris x 3, Caspar Worcester Bell x 4, Aaron H. Conroe x 5, George Graham Vest x 6, Thomas W. Freeman x 7. Representative-elect John Heyer never took his seat. The district was unrepresented for the entire First Congress. North Carolina 1. William Nathan Harrell Smith 2, Robert Rufus Bridges 3, Owen Rand Keenan 4, Thomas David Smith McDowell x 5, Archibald Hunter Errington 6, James Robert McLean 7, Thomas Samuel Ashe 8, William Lander 9, Burgess Sidney Gaither 10, Alan Turner Davidson x 11, Abraham Watkins Venable x, South Carolina 1, John McQueen 2, William Porcher Miles x 3, Louis Malone Jr. 4, Milledge Luke Burnham William Dunlap Simpson 5, James Farrow 6, William Waters Boyce x, Tennessee 1, Joseph Brown High School 2, William Graham Swan 3, William Henry Tibbs 4, Erasmus Lee Gardner 5, Henry Stewart Foote 6, Meredith Poindexter Gentry 7, George Washington Jones 8, Thomas Menes 9, John DeWitt Clinton Atkins Sexton, John Vines Wright 11, David Maney Curran x, Texas 1, John Allen Wilcox 2, Caleb Claiborne Herbert 3, Peter W. Gray 4, Franklin Barlow Sexton 5, Malcolm D. Graham 6, William Bacon Wright, Virginia 1, Musco Russell Hunter Garnett 2, John Randolph Chambliss Sr. 3, James Lyons. 4. Roger Atkinson Pryor X. Charles Fenton Collier. 5. Thomas Stanley Bocock X. 6. John Good, Jr. 7. James Philemon Holcomb. 8. Daniel Coleman de Jarnett, Sr. 9. William Extrabilly Smith David Funson. 10. Alexander Boteler X. 11. John Brown Baldwin. 12. Waller Red Staples X. 13. Walter Preston X. 14. Albert Gallatin Jenkins Samuel Augustin Miller. 15. Robert Johnston X. 16. Charles Wells Russell X. Delegates non-voting members of the House of Representatives. Arizona Territory Marcus H. McQuilly. Cherokee Nation Elias Cornelius Boudinot X. Choctaw Nation Robert McDonald Jones.